Good morning, everyone. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, you know, way before ferro rods, matches, and all them good things come along, the mountain men were using flint and steel to build a fire. And before the mountain men, when you think about mountain men, you think about the men who were fur trappers of the West. But way before they come along, you had Daniel Boone, you had Simon Kenton, you had Davy Crockett. Those mountain men of the East, are the people who inspired everybody else to go west and find a better life or find a better hunting ground. One of the things that they used to build the fire with, the main thing that they used to build the fire with, you guys, was flint and steel. This morning, I'm going to see if I can get this fire built right here. You can see there's snow all over the ground. It is cold this morning, you guys. The sun is coming up. Everything is literally covered in frost. So I've got to prepare a bird's nest to put, my char cloth in after I strike that light, and see if I can get a fire going here this morning in the outdoors. So stick with me. I hope these videos don't bore you. You can take matches to the woods. The wind can blow a match out. No question about it. Of course, you got your fire steel and that stuff works, okay? But what I like about flint and steel, not only is it the old way that they did it, but once you get a spark in your char cloth, the wind can't blow it out. The wind is just going to help it just burn hotter, because that's just the way it is. It's just an ember glowing through a charred piece of material. And it is cold this morning, you guys. I'm not kidding you. So I'm going to take the saw here, and I'm going to saw a little bit of wood. All right, you all. Just enough pieces of wood to get this up off of the wet ground. Found a piece of charred wood there. See how it's charred? It's got snow on it. But look at the yellow inside of that right there. See that yellow? That's actually fatwood, you guys, right there laying in the middle of the woods. So, it's fatwood and it's wet fatwood. Check that out. So, that's going to be the base of our fire, all right? I like to show these things right here. Well, like I say, pioneers, they didn't have matches, guys. They had flint and steel. Flint and steel came along with the invention of some of the guns that the mountain men were using, that settlers were using. If you had a flintlock, then of course you're going to have some flint and steel, because that steel that they were using on the flintlock to strike that spark was steel that had been case hardened hard enough that when you struck a rock against it, it would throw off a spark, you guys. And I just cut this piece of stuff right here a while ago. Look at this. Look how rich that is in sap wood right there. And what I've got to do, you guys, is I've got to get it shredded up enough to add it to some type of a tinder bundle, because that's going to be the problem in this area right here. I do not have a tinder bundle with me in this backpack. This is from scratch, gathering enough things to make the tinder bundle out of, so that we can actually catch us a fire. But I just wanted to show you that piece of fat wood right there, that they are not completely dry. So what I'm going to try to do, that sounds pretty sound. So we're going to make some shavings to add to this bird's nest, you guys. The outside of it is wet, okay? We don't want them first shavings. We know that they're damp. We want to start with those right there. Now that is pine, you guys. Like I say, we don't want the outside. We want those inner shavings. Now let me find something you all dry enough to lay this on to blow it into flames, okay? All right, you all. We're going to take some of this fat wood right here, and we're going to see how that stuff's frozen. Yeah, I mean, it really is frozen hard as a brick. But even wet fat wood will ignite if you give it a flame, okay? So what we're going to do there is we're going to try our best to get enough of that right there off of that. It's just like cutting bone. What we're going to do is we're going to sort of impregnate that that damp tinder bundle right there with this stuff right here. Now, another way that you can do it, you guys, is you can take your saw if you got one, and you can saw into that piece of fat wood. Of course, you're making shavings right there. You take those shavings right off of the saw there, and a good way to do it, you guys, is just to set it down there on something that will catch them shavings for you, and just saw. You can see that sawdust. Put it in your tinder bundle. All right, you guys, here we go. Get my mountain man Our steel kit open here. Man, that thing's cold. You guys, in this scenario right here, don't skimp on your char cloth, okay? Do not skimp on this char cloth. The wind is blowing right in my face right now, you guys. Alright, you can see that's glowing, you guys. Alright, you all, she's burning. So let it burn there and catch that damp stuff up. And you can see, I don't have a flame, you guys. Now I do. So y'all, that's the way you make fire with flint and steel. The mountain man way. You can do it. You can see the conditions are not perfect. I mean, you can do it in your basement, you guys. There's no question about it. You can light a fire all night long down there in the garage. But take your stuff out into the forest when it's just like it is right now. It had rained 3 inches of rain on this woods. We got a skiff of snow on these woods. But just like the old mountain man did, now we've got a fire going. See all the smoke coming off that wood, you guys? It's because that wood's wet. It is wet. I'm going to lay that piece of fatwood right on the center of that fire right there, you all, and watch it catch up. You see how that flame is not dancing way up high, you all? Because it's burning the moisture out of that wood that I just started that fire with right there. But there's one thing about flint and steel. You can depend on flint and steel. You know, and it was the forerunner of your ferro rod, okay? And you see me use the ferro rod all the time with cotton balls. One strike, it's done. But still yet, I like to keep the mountain man stuff alive because you never know when you'll need it. And there's more than just one, you know. I've got a handmade flint striker there that I made in that kit, and it's, you know, it's high carbon steel. It works really good. But you can take a high carbon knife like the one I've got there you see me using in the backpack. You can do it with that. You can do it with a high carbon axe or a hatchet or something like that, a tomahawk. You can still do the same thing. You can still light your char cloth with that. So that's just some of the things that I like to show. These skills have to be practiced and learned. and like I say, you can sit there all day long and do it in the garage, and you can go downstairs in the basement and you can make them things all day long. Or your backyard, you know, where you're doing your fatwood Friday thing, your fired up Friday, that's all well and good. But go to the mountains, go to the real woods where the conditions are raw, where everything has been rained on for a week and you got snow on the ground, and see if you can go from start to finish and have a fire so that you don't freeze to death. So you all, what did we learn here? We learned to take leaves. We used the sap wood out of this tree right here, turned it into shreds. We put some sawdust in there. We took some pine needles. All this stuff is damp. There was none of it perfectly dry except for that piece of char cloth that I stuck in there. Now I did go high on a bigger chunk of char cloth, because that's just what you got to do to get an ember that will make enough heat to cause a flame to come up inside your tinder bundle. But this soaking wet wood right here, with that sap in it, you all, it's just cooking it right out of it, but it's wet as it can be. Of course, I'm not going to do anything here. I'm going to let this fire burn out to you all before I leave, but I just wanted to show you that even wet, that sapwood will burn, you guys. See that right there? Once it catches, that's nothing but pine tar right there burning. Pine sap. You all, I hope you're not getting tired of these type of videos right here. I do this stuff just to teach younger people who've never done this stuff before. I know we have older people that know all about this kind of stuff. They can sit right on the couch all day long and tell you how to do it. But I like to get out here in the woods and show people just exactly how it's done. That way, not only am I showing you how it's done, but I'm also testing my own skills as well. With that, God bless you. Have yourself a wonderful day.